Despite the fact that tanks have been built in the world for about 100 years, only a few countries have achieved success in this industry. Leading tank manufacturers can still be counted on the fingers, and if you look at the list of vehicles that are in service with different countries of the world, you will see that the lion's share of them is produced by 10 to 15 manufacturers. So in fact it was not so difficult to choose the 5 best tanks in the world. Hello, New Soldier in touch! And as you already understood, today we will share with you our rating of the most powerful tanks in the world. They are kind of monsters among their own kind. Who are they? Let's find out right now. The 5th place is held by T-90, Russia. It's produced since 1992. Its weight is 47 tons. Its armor is composite plus active protection plus explosive reactive armor. Its gun is 125 mm smoothbore gun, 84 caliber. Engine power is 1000 horsepower. Maximum speed is 65 km per hour. The main battle tank of Russia, T-90 Vladimir, was considered one of the best in terms of value for money ratio. Therefore, in the first decade of the 21st century, it was the best seller in the world market, but even now it will give odds to many foreign analogs. The Kalina fire control system installed on the latest modifications surpasses the systems used on similar tanks of other countries. The Kalina FCS allows the T-90 to hit moving targets from the first shot with a very high probability of success in almost any weather conditions, and even when the tank itself is in motion. Vladimir is equipped with a 22-round automatic loader with a fire rate of up to 9 rounds per minute, which is also capable of firing anti-tank guided missiles. The tank has the longest firing range compared to its competitors, so aimed shooting with the high explosive fragmentation shells is possible up to 10 km, which makes it possible to use the T-90 as an assault gun. The design of the tank allows forcing water barriers up to 5 meters deep. It must also be said that in numerous tests in combat shooting, mobility and durability, the T-90 occupied a leading position, ahead of such serious tanks as the Abrams, Leclerc and Leopard. Expert opinion. The T-90 came in handy in Syria. They seem to be praising him, but again, there are no direct clashes with tanks of other types. It simply takes into account the requirements of the military for the layout of equipment. It has steering handwheel, GLONASS, a new sighting system. This is such a modernization of the T-90, so that it's simply modern and more efficient. The 4th place. Abrams, USA. It's produced since 1980. Weight is 62 tons. Its armor is composite and rolled steel, plus active protection optional and plus explosive reactive armor optional. Its gun is 120 mm smoothbore gun, 42 caliber. Engine power is 1,500 horsepower. Maximum speed is 67 km per hour. The Abrams has been the US main battle tank for over 35 years. This tank is one of the few equipped with a system of protection against weapons of mass destruction. In the case of the use of nuclear or chemical weapons, this system provides filtered air to the masks of the crew members and also prevents radioactive dust and toxic substances from entering the fighting compartment. The American is also equipped with radiation and chemical reconnaissance devices. It should also be noted that one of the most modern fire control systems was installed on the Abrams, and the fact about the good protection of the tank. Despite the rather intensive use of the Abrams in their entire 35-year history, not a single case of the complete destruction of the crew was recorded. This is a very urgent problem in T-90, since there the crew is practically in no way separated from the ammunition and fuel tanks. Expert opinion. These tanks are very heavy, and the engines on them are gas turbines, although now they seem to be going to switch to diesel. In Iraq, the sample did not work very well. As we know, it turned out that he could not even withstand a hit from an RPG-7. Friends, if you think that we have not correctly identified the top 5 of the best tanks in the world, someone was undeservedly overlooked, and someone, on the contrary, is in your opinion superfluous in the list, then correct us in the comments under the video. The third place goes to Leopard, Germany. It's produced since 1979. Weight is up to 67 tons for modification to A7. Its armor is composite and add-on armor. Its gun is 120mm smoothbore gun, 55 caliber. Engine power is 1,500 horsepower. Maximum speed is 72 km per hour. The Leopard 2 is a modern German main battle tank, which is used by the armies of more than half of the European countries of the middle class. The tank is equipped with the most advanced fire control system, which allows it to fire at moving targets while it's moving, including over uneven terrain. To fire at one of the targets detected by the system, the gunner only needs to put a marker on it. Add-on armor covers most of the tank's surface and protects it from mines, RPGs, homemade landmines, anti-tank missiles and cluster munitions. The Leopard is also equipped with an auxiliary power unit, which allows all the electronic systems of the tank to function without turning on the main engine, which significantly reduces its thermal and acoustic visibility. Expert opinion: yes, it's considered that now it's one of the best tanks in the world, but again, it was not tested in battles. By this time, only Abrams T-62 and T-72 got real battle experience, as well as T-90 now. Therefore, the Leopard can only be assessed by its main characteristics. The second place is held by Merkava, Israel. It's produced since 1974. Weight is up to 65 tons for modification Mk4. Armor is cast steel and modular armor, plus active protection. Its gun is 120mm smoothbore gun, 50 caliber. Engine power is 1,500 horsepower. Maximum speed is 60 km per hour. The Merkava is a modern Israeli main battle tank, designed and supplied exclusively for the Israel Defense Forces. The concept of the tank is in front location of the engine compartment, which contributes to the additional protection of the crew. Another feature of the Merkava tanks is the presence of a rear compartment for transporting troops and the wounded, adding to them versatility and variability depending on the combat situation. The tank turret has a wedge-shaped super ricochet shape and it's not badly armored. The Merkava is considered the first tank to use the APS, an active protection system, that allows it to shoot down anti-tank guided missiles and shells approaching the tank. However, according to experts, the practically 70-ton Merkava has 30% less protection than the 50-ton Russian T-90. And the first place goes to the Challenger 2, Great Britain. It's produced since 1994, weight is 63 tons, its armor is composite plus dynamic protection optional, its gun is 120mm rifled gun, 55 caliber, engine power is 1200 horsepower, maximum speed is 56 km per hour. The Challenger 2 is a modern British main battle tank. This is the only tank we are considering that is equipped with a 120mm rifled gun, which gives the Challenger very high accuracy and the ability to hit targets at long distances. Another advantage of the English MBT is its armor, which is based on the Steel Secret Dorchester armor. The only known thing is that this is a construction of steel, ceramic and Kevlar plates, which dampen the impact of a projectile entering the tank. But the very good armor of the tank made it very heavy, up to 75 tons with all the attachments and the additional equipment, and together with a rather weak engine, 1200 horsepower, made it very slow and clumsy. Maximum speed is 56 km per hour. Expert opinion. Well, what can be said about a tank that has never left the territory of the UK? Although other British chieftain tanks were indeed in service with Iran during the Iran-Iraq conflict, the Iraqis, as far as I remember, were on Soviet T-62s. So, using the maneuverability of machines, they went into the flanks of the clumsy British and shot them in the side projection. I think that the new generation of Challengers had the same drawback. These tanks are heavy and slow. Well, according to the same military expert Dmitry Litovkin, thus there are 5, the list can be expanded to 10, the most famous and powerful tanks in the world. But it is not possible to objectively assess their actual combat power. After the Battle of Prokhorovka in 1943, there were no more direct tank clashes in the world. And it is the war that puts everything in its place. So the Soviet T-34 is still considered the best machine of World War II. That's all. Thank you for being with us. Do not forget to leave your comments below the video. How much do you agree with our top? And tell your friends about us. Narrated by Maxim Nikulin for New Soldier channel.